V2 who are playing the orange team. 25% of Twitter tonight voting for Alpenfestung, and 75% of Twitter are here voting or supporting Fragile V2. There is a predictions up at the top of your chat, and you can put your 2 TXP on who you think's going to win. At the moment, Twitch chat is favoring Fragile V2. Not much support here tonight for Alpenfestung. Let's see what bans we're going to get. We are going to get Thatcher. No big surprises. No big surprises here as Thatcher gets taken out of play. Who are we going to get on the defensive side, or on the orange team side rather? Who are Fragile going to get rid of? Is it going to be Jackal, or is it going to be Maverick, or an Ace? It's going to be Nomad. Oh, that's a good pick. Nomad, good for stopping the runouts. And this is a map where runouts and jump outs are very, very common. So that is a good, sensible ban. I like that. Good choice coming out from Fragile. It's different to the norm. I like it. I like it. Now, Castle. Okay, so maybe Fragile watched the game last week because Real played a lot of Castle. I think they played Real in pretty much every single strat they did on Coastline. So banning Castle might not be a bad choice. It also helps when attacking, reading, and Fireplace to have Castle out of play, though you can switch him around with a Rooney just as well. Mozzie getting taken off the board, great for intel gathering, great gun, great C4s, great running around shooting stuff capabilities. So that's a good ban, I would say, coming out there from Alpenfestung. Different bans, completely different bans almost to what we saw in the stats leading up to this game. Thatcher being the only common ban there. So this is what we love to see. A bit of adaptability and versatility and flexibility and all other sorts of abilities coming out from our teams. Bar and Cocktail, though, standard first side to play. Nothing different here today, and that is where we are going to go. Fletch, 6 picking onto the Jackal from Twitch. That could be a good pick, though there aren't really any roamers. I think Jaeger's the only one we will really see running around the map possibly here. So I don't know if Jackal is really going to be the big play here, but we will find out how it's going to pay off as the rounds progress. But I would say at this point we're not really looking for a big roam game to come out from Fragile V2. Not at all. So if we look at some data here, we can see, as I said at the start, that Alpenfestung lost their first 2 games, but did win their second 2. Fragile lost their first game against Sync, but to be fair, they took it to overtime. They managed to win the last 2, or sorry, the next 2, but then they lost in week number 4. And I'll be honest with you, I can't actually remember who they played in week 4 to take that loss against. Very poor of me, I realise, but, you know, I can't remember everything. I should have written this stuff down. When it gets to playoffs, I'll have everything written down. I'll have all this data right in front of me. Right in front of me. Because I will have a duo caster. For the playoffs, I'm very pleased to confirm that Ebac, who is a prolific PC caster who has been casting Challenger League qualifiers this season, he's going to be joining us on the casting desk for 3 of the 5 playoff games. So on Friday nights, he will be joining us. Now we have Fletch holding a pretty standard angle through this white window here. Oh, Whamite's going to run past. He's going to take a whole load of damage. Fletch gives his position away. Mad King is going to get taken out, though, by Epic Temperor, playing on the sledge as he is down below. I guess he's just shooting stuff through the floor. Frag grenades going up, but not doing any damage because there's no player there. Not even really going to open a hole to peek through, so a bit of a waste of a grenade, but that is what it is. Now, of course, this is one of those times where I've forgotten to put myself on Do Not Disturb, so Brissac making himself famous as he is likely to want to do. Now, second floor roam game here. We've got 1 player on the white stairs. Ash is playing just here in Laundry. That's Cody, and she's playing a little bit slower than normal. Who's on white stairs? It's Zyko. That's who's there. He is sitting, watching, waiting. He knows someone's coming. Magnet goes up, gives his position away, and turns his back. He doesn't realize that Cody's there, and Cody comes up and gets that kill, shooting Zyko from behind. Cody gets another one. That's the double. Mira, for some reason, is going to re-peek that doorway as Turkin is left all on his own, and Fragile just swoop in and pick up a whole load of frags towards the end of the round and put the first round on the board for Fragile V2. Nicely done to them. Okay. Bar and cocktail. Gonna get played again. So long since I've forgotten to put myself on Do Not Disturb while casting. So long, so long. And the one time I do it, of course it's Brisak. Wants to get his name up there. Wants to get his name up there and be seen on stream. He does like to cause a bit of trouble, does Brisak. If there's a boundary, he wants to push it. He's that kind of guy. Alright, so Yokai going out, and that is going to be put up here underneath new hatch. That's an interesting choice. Second Yokai going out, and that is going to go into cigar booth, whatever that's called. I forget what that's actually called. It's the little booth. It's all cigar shop in this area. I don't think that has its own little name, but let's call it cigar booth. That'll do. Standard setup here with a shield. There will be holes opened up here. Shield is going to look out over into the cigar lounge with the same holes or similar holes as before being set up. Now, we don't have the mirror being played here like we had previously. We do have just no reinforcement, but hole set up with a shield and a budget mirror window. Standard mirror window being set up over here. Now, this is like a year 2 or 3 mirror window that's coming into play here. So some old strats coming out. I'd like to see a frost on the board and a frost mat being placed underneath this rotate. Always going to be able to catch people out like that. Fletch, with an idea that someone's on white stairs, is going to move in, but does he know that that player's there? I don't think he does. He's looking for the footprints and there aren't any. Is he going to bait this player? So he's rappelling up. Player on white isn't going to go for it. Psycho not falling for that. But it looks like Jackal wasn't even planning to watch that doorway anyway. That was a free kill for Zyko if he'd tried it, but he just didn't go for it. So we can hear Ace opening up the wall into Cigar, and I guess we will get a pretty standard push. Open hatch, open wall, walk through wall, come in, push your way through one of these walls if you can. Thank you very much for the follow, Ariyun 420. There we go, they are in already. And the players to push down here and walk along here, or to jump through the rotate, or to push through one of these walls, or to come through this door, or over here. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do, right, on this site. But, oh, Mad King, though, does claim the first kill. Nicely done to Mad King. Getting the early lead there for Alpenfestung. The question is, can they maintain that? That is the question. As Schecter's going to rotate around and join his teammate right here in the door. Quick refrag for my Cody. Cody is a fragger. This is what he does as he looks up to heaven to see if he can find a player, but there is no one there. We've got one player on Cocktail who's about to make his way out to that doorway, and he doesn't know, and he is going to get a few shots in the back. Turkin is going to retreat after he takes those hits. Zyko, though, drops 1, 4 versus 3, and the advantage here remains with Alpenfestung. Finker boost is deployed as the gas grenade goes out, and that is going to cause some damage to Boomsy, but for some reason, he isn't dying in that gas grenade. He's sitting pretty much right in it, but the impact is going to finish the job. Cody making his way up white stairs. Kundi and Cody, last 2 players left. Mira's going to get shot from behind as she is just not looking where she needs to be. We've got one playing in Freezer, one playing on Heaven. Cody is in and ready. Not going to give himself away by shooting that ADS just yet. Tarkin claims 1. His position is known as Cody comes around, knows exactly where one is, and that mirror window is going to be used against him. Diffuser out in the wind, 25 seconds left to go. Echo's position is known, and Echo is just going to sit here and wait and buy time. And there's the position from Cody, but Turkin gets the shots first. He knows where to watch. He gets the pick, and that's the equalizer, making it 1-1 at the end of round number 2. Nicely done to Alpenfestung. As we get a 1-1 at the end of the first 2 rounds. This is what we want. We want to keep this close as much as we can through the game. All right. So, kitchen service and kitchen cooking is going to be the next site to get played by Alpenfestung. Boom is going to pick Ace, but he's 6 picking it and going onto the Buck, which is a good play. Plenty of vertical destruction coming out here from Fragile V2. They know exactly where Alpenfestung are going to go to. They've got Sledge, they've got Buck, they've got all that vertical damage that's going to be needed. The question is, how will Alpenfestung prepare for that? Will they play down below and try to play the C4 game? They do have 2 of them available. Or will they have someone roaming around up here on the second floor just trying to nip that vertical play in the bud? Now, I can imagine Mad King and Real probably roaming around a fair bit. Although from what we saw of Real last week, he kind of was the type of player to sit a little bit back and not roam too much. Just sit back, watching angles, waiting for people to come to him. And in fact, that's quite often Alpenfestung's play style, is to do things like that. Let's see what they bring out. Cheeky little Valkyrie cam just there in the corner. That's not going to get spotted too easily because, you know, as you jump in, or you're not looking over in the corner. You're not looking in the corner. Not really. So we'll see if that gets taken out of play. All 5 players from Fragile spawning on the river docks, getting off their luxury yacht, making their way up to the building. We have Jackal being played by Fletch yet again, and he's going to go over to the left all on his own as he makes his way up to the very front. He's going to rappel up to the roof, possibly, or go for a... No, he's going to open up a hole. He is going up to the roof, though. He is going up to the roof. We're going to get a top floor down push as Buck is going to open up those hatches and get ready to drop in with his team. Drones going out. Fraggers dropping in to take advantage of the intel that they've been given. Tempera watching the flanks. Fletch dropping in, looking for those footprints as iCody is in as well. Now, they do have complete control of the top floor. There is no one actually up here, so they're not going to spend too long up here. The first minute has been spent just checking out the top floor. That is now clear. There is only 1 player, 2 players over here on the second floor, 1 on white stairs. He's going to get droned out, and he is going to fall back to sight. That's going to make perfect sense, leaving just 1 player on the second floor, and that is Mad King, who is going to claim the first life. So yet again, Alpenfestung do get the early lead in this round, just like they did in the previous round. He's going to fall back and wait and waste some more time. It's important to remember that Aroma's job isn't just to kill people, it's to waste time as well if you can. Boom gets spotted through that hatch and takes a whole load of damage. Joe gets taken out, and he knows that there's a player coming down this red staircase very possibly. He's going to wait patiently. Free fire's going out through the wall. Hatch opened up above, and we're seeing Mad King in a whole load of trouble right now as players are about to converge in his position. He takes down Cody. That's the key fragger. 4 Fragile taken out of commission. And Mad King somehow has managed to stay alive for 1 minute and 45 seconds. And he does eventually lose his life. A second one drops on Alpenfestung, and Fragile V2 managed to equal it out. 3 versus 3 now, as we have 1 minute left on the clock. Diffuser is in the hands of Boom, and they're going to be trying to find their way into sight to get that plant down. Holes being opened up all over the place to move the standard defensive anchoring positions out of play. That's a nice little angle, that one. As you can see, that looks down here into the corridor, giving you a good overview of the rotate, if that's what you desire. And that's a nice play as well, looking down into Coffee. Remember that one, people. Remember that one if you don't know it already. So, loads of damage being done. We can see 1 player by the doorway there of Freezer, but Buck has not noticed him. Kundy looking through all the holes, and Epic Tempera upstairs. We're getting ready for a hatch drop to go for a Freezer take and probably a coffee plant here. Buck is getting ready to follow that drone. But Aruni is going to back out. That is real. And hold here behind Coffee. 2 players are going to drop in. Aruni turns her back. And she does manage to claim the life of 1. That's Boom drop. Diffuser down. 10 seconds left to go. 2 versus 3. As Real has eyes on Sledge. Manages to get the pick. Kundy is the last man left standing. Then a 1 versus 2. He's going to manage to get 1. But Turkin's going to drop that hatch at the last moment. And bring that round together at the very end. And put it on the board for Alpenfestung. And Alpenfestung take the lead 2-1. And at the moment, Fragile not looking too confident. They're playing a lot slower than we've seen them play previously. Let's talk about that round a little bit more. Reading Room and Fireplace is going to be the next site to get played. We can see Real coming onto Aruni again. Just like I said, played a lot of Castle on Coastline with Castle banned. Logical pick is going to be Aruni for him. And Kundy is going to 6-pick Finker and go on to Jackal. Clearly not working out for Fletch, while we've got Capcan being brought out. That's an interesting... going on to Wham! I would love to see some Capcan plays. Anyway, let's talk about that last round. Mad King had a great roam game. A great roam game at the start of it. Sure, he got picked off. But for his troubles, he managed to get 2 kills, and he wasted like 1.5 minutes of the attacker's time. Even if he hadn't have got those kills, that was still a good time waste. But the fact that he got those 2 picks as well early on, whittling down those numbers of Fragile, was a big help to Alpenfestung and was a key decider in how they managed to take the win in that round. A key player as well, obviously, was Real at the very end, getting that player as he came out of the freezer doorway. Dropping that diffuser just left it as a fragging game for the attack. But with the time left and the defensive positions being held and the lack of intel on the board, it just meant they weren't able to do that frag game. Let's see what will happen here now as we go to a whole new site. Let's see what the stats are for this site on Cafe. Reading room and fireplace. 23% attacking favored as a tertiary site. If you can stick with these stats, Alpenfestung of being 77% defender favored, you're on good track to go 3-1 up. Let's see if they can pull that off. This map overall 50-50 when it comes to attacking and defensive favor. As I said earlier on in the stream, this is basically one of the most evenly balanced maps that we have in the map pool, which is why a lot of teams like to play it, I'm sure. Now, Shock Drone getting sent out as Cody is looking for the player coming up red, but no one's going to come up. There is no one there. Red stairs are empty. Players are going to drop in. Third floor roam is trying to get shut down, but it isn't much for roam. We just have one player here. Drone gets taken out of place. Stannis rear gate on the double doorway. More drones going in to try and find where Jaeger is. Real is going to come upstairs and back him up. Hatch is open, ready for the retreat back to site once enough time has been wasted. Drone has been lost to the signal disruptors. We've got one player up here on Skylight chucking down grenades, but ADSs are just going to tear them up. Oh no, the shock drone has been allowed to come in and take down a whole load of utility, but it hasn't been spotted by Jaeger. Now he sees it and he needs to take it out, but he isn't going to, as Buck is going to apply that pressure. Buck just moving around. Cody gets the life of one. This isn't looking good as Cody comes round and gets a second, but he is refragged by Zyko, who drops as well. We've got Schecter on white stairs, and it's not known by Twitch, who does fall to the SMG-11. 2 versus 3. Footprints getting tracked. That is Mute. Is going to get followed. 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go. Still plenty of utility in the hands of Fragile. I'm going to put my money on Fragile on this one. If they do not win this, I would be very, very surprised. Echo down below is going to take a whole load of heat from Ace up above, losing a whole lot of health points. Sends back some bullets, but they don't manage to hit anything. Signal disrupt has been dropped. That's going to allow intel onto site with the remaining drones left for Fragile. We have Schecter left in a 1 versus 3 now. 4 drones left that can be moved by the attack. They need to get on those drones and do some work to find out where Schecter is, because he is the only thing standing between Fragile and a win. He manages to take down one. They know his position. Pre-fire's going out. One player still up above. As pings are going out. Kundi with diffuser. Epic Temper up above. Schecter just needs to deny this plant, but with no C4, it's going to be very difficult. He manages to down Epic Temper, leaving Kundi all on his own in a 1 versus 1, and somehow Schecter manages to win it. Fragile, what are you doing? You just lost a 1 versus 3 with top floor control, looking down into sight against a Mute with no C4 and just an SMG-11 in hand. I don't know what to say. Don't know what to say. That was so in favor of Fragile. That had Fragile's name written all over it. If you looked up in the dictionary win, you'd see a picture of Fragile on round number 4 of this game. That would be it. But no, somehow they threw it away. They threw it away. Oh. They need to pick their game up if they want to take a win here tonight. They really do need to pick their game up if they want the win. All right, so Schecter going on to smoke this time instead of Mutes. For the bar and cocktail hold. Perfectly makes sense to come back up to this site. Turkin just running around, just with his little bearing 9 out, trying to take out drones. There's one. Mad King. I know what you're thinking when you're watching Turkin. Or Turkin. But we have hand cammed him. This is exactly how he looks. I do not know how players play like this on controllers. They have crazy high sensitivity. And yeah, sometimes it works for them. I think sometimes it works against them. 5 versus 5, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock. Cheeky throw of the shock. Nicely thrown. The tiniest of holes. And that mirror window is going to get popped straight away. And then the drone just pops through the rotate and gets taken out by Schecter. Breaching charges being placed up on the hatches, opening them up, ready to drop down. That's Cody here. Just there we go. Just let's put that down, get a drone ready, and send that drone in. And follow to get kills. Standard drone from Twitch is still in play. Going to be looking around on the second floor, trying to find where the defenders are. Got Cody droning top, Epic Tempera droning from Skylight. We've got Kundi just running up to the Skylight, and Boom droning as well. So a big roam game coming out here from the defensive side. Standard player in the freezer, that is expected. So not really. Oh no, the Magnet picks up one. Selma, that is one lost. Kundi holding on to the hatch. Fletch trying to use that utility to take out the default cameras. We've got Zyko playing right here on the fireplace. But has he been found? Do they know he is here? They know that we've got one player on pillars. That's Mad King spotted. iCody playing down on the first floor, running round to the pillar staircase right now to try and come up and capitalize on that intel. We've got one player roaming around here on 90, but they don't know that there's a player in train. Now we are going to see this Jaeger get pinched any moment now. Cody is coming in. He doesn't. No, Cody's not there. Cody's not in yet. Cody's about to come in. Those drones moving all around. But Cody drops at the hands of Zyko. We got Twitch coming around from 90. Zyko's going to take a whole load of damage and fall back to sight. The Jaeger just sitting here, holding firm in his position. We've got one player looking like he's going to move his way into reading, but he doesn't. He's going to back out and go into fireplace and rotate around. Zyko doing a great job there, getting the pick and then backing out, keeping his life safe. The caller's gone out. Get back up to sight, my dude. We need you to help us attack. Let's leave that last roamer alone. We feel it's clear. Let's just go for this. Oh no! That's an unfortunate one for Smoke. He had the headshot lined up, but he comes off it just at the wrong moment. Real claims of life. We've got one player in sight. That's Fletch. He's going to pick off 2 players. That's the quick 2K for him. 3 versus 3 as Mad King takes a load of damage, but he does take one down in the meantime, and he gets fragged from behind. And oh, there's just too many kills to keep track of. Alpenfestung take another round by getting a beautiful flank there onto the last attacker. You've got to shut down that roam game. You've got to shut down that roam game. Alpenfestung 4-1 up. As we go into the last round of regulation. Hey Alicia, welcome to the stream. Welcome Eric's, welcome Barry, Coyote, Eddie PCM, welcome to you too. Thank you very much for joining. Very much appreciated everybody that's coming in tonight to watch the game. Kitchen is going to get played again. It's just become unlocked and the boys from Alpenfestung are going to head right back there. Let me just check some stuff. Oh, okay. I thought there was something happening that I needed to look at, but it turns out there isn't. The only thing I need to look at is what's happening down here on kitchen service and kitchen cooking. We are seeing a lot of fragile players fall due to a lack of really paying attention. They seem to focus in very closely. We saw it specifically in that last round. They're focusing in specifically on like one player to try to pinch them. Sometimes it's working, but times like the last round, they're just not focusing on what's actually going on behind them. They're so zoned in on that one player. So zoned in on that one player that they're losing track of the fact that there's actually a second player up there on that floor with them. Cody doing everything. I mean, yeah, he's the only one with a real positive KD at the moment, if that's what you mean by everything. He's getting all the frags. If we look at Alpenfestung, they're very much more evenly spread out when it comes to kills. You've got 2 on 5, 2 on 4, and 1 on 3. It's a similar kind of story on Fragile, but you've got 1 on 7 instead of on 3. 2 on 4 and 2 on 2, so, you know... Yeah, It's not looking good for Fragile right now on attack. They need to get a win here. On this map that is 50% attacker and 50% defender favored, you kind of expect a 3-3 split at the end of the first half. But at the moment, we're on a 4-1, and it could go to a 4-2 or a 5-1. And if Zyko's going to keep getting the kills like that, it's going to be the 5-1 as Cody drops. And like it's being called in the chat, he's the main guy doing the work. But he's just been taken off of the board. Epic Temper, though, does answer back with a frag grenade. We've got Kundi watching the long angle onto Harry Potter. He sees the elbow of Lucy, does manage to pick her off if she comes round. We've got another player coming to Small Bakery, but Kundi is not looking that way. He just isn't looking. 3 versus 4, and Fragile have the advantage. We could see the 4-2 split here, as it's looking good right now as Fletch claims another life. Turkin and Real are the last 2 players left on the board. 2 versus 4, 1 on site, 1 slightly off site, just watching and waiting. Real is going to drop. Turkin's going to answer back with 1 kill and fall back to site. 1 versus 3. Now, we have seen Fragile throw the 1 versus 3 before, but is it going to happen again? Player is going to jump up onto Coffee and give himself away. Turkin picks him off. 1 versus 2. Player behind the bomb chassis starting to plant. Second player coming round to support him. C4 gets pulled. Plant is successful. Boomsy goes down to 1 HP. And it's going to drop, leaving Epic Temper all on his own. Oh my... No, it's not a microphone problem. I just have no words. I have no words. Stream, what are we seeing? Fragile right now have to be hugely tilted. They're not going to be happy that they just lost a 1 versus 3 again when they had control. They had the plant down in a 1 versus 2, and Turkin manages to come in and clean them up. They had all of the positioning, all of the power, and they just threw it away. This is a great showing coming out from Alpenfestung right now. When we look at how they played at the start of the season compared to how they've played the last two and a half games, it's a world of difference. It was said to me a couple of weeks ago that the German teams come into our leagues here and use them as scrims because no one in their German leagues is watching them. They can try stuff out, do things that are different. The last couple of weeks, Alpenfestung have just stepped it up, and Real has said to me that actually this league is important to them. Despite what he said about other leagues, he said this one is important. Maybe this is why we're suddenly seeing this change in the last couple of weeks, where Alpenfestung are just turning up. I can see that you are now watching the 1 versus 3 in the stream that I was watching. It's now the 1 versus 3. Turkin's just taken down his first. He's just getting the second. And you're about to see what happens. And I'm interested to see what chat is going to make of it. I'm interested to see. Now, kitchen and service, top floor is clear. No roam game up on the 3rd floor except for this one guy with an open hatch. Yeah, you're seeing it. You're seeing it. You've just seen it. All right, so Epic Temper gets the C4, and it's now a 4 versus 5, as for the first time in a little while, we see Fragile taking the lead in a round. Now, that drone isn't going to spot our man Fletch on Vigil as he goes onto his utility just in the nick of time, but also the drone just wasn't looking that way. I just love it, read at the chat. 4 versus after that 1v3. All right, 4 versus 5. Early lead here to Fragile. Early lead to Fragile. Let's see if they can hold on to this. Fletch holding on to reading. Zyko. This could be where it all turns around. It's a 5-1, but it's not impossible for Fragile to spin this around. It's not impossible to spin it around. Man King's going to drop down. He's going to see the footprints. He's not going to scan them just yet. Got to take out that default cam and then find where this operator is. He's going to watch the footprints for a little bit, and he's going to have realized here surely that man has dropped hatch. That is Vigil. Now they know where he is. So Vigil's going to be running around trying to avoid those pings. That's one, and this is just one left, but he's going to fall back to site. Makes perfect sense, and he's going to live to fight another day. All players now on site for Fragile. as we can see Alpenfestung have locked down the top 2 floors. More footprints getting tracked. That's going to be Mute, spotted, also on site. So no real intel being picked up. Oh no, we've had a cheeky flank from Fletch on the Vigil. This is going to be huge. This is where Fletch has the chance to come into his own and put some numbers up here. Oh no, Ash has spotted him, but Fletch comes off better. The player in mining on train is going to know exactly where he is. Bullets go through the walls trying to pick this player off, but he has fallen back. This is a very good roam coming out from Fletch, who's managed to pick off 2 players almost ahead of a lot of time. He's going to get scanned yet again. That's going to force him back to site. We've got damage above the site, and Alpenfestung are going to look through those holes to try to do the damage. Zyko claims 1, 3 versus 4 now, with iCody just sitting in prep, waiting patiently. Cody falling back to Freezer. No C4s left in hand. 25 seconds left to go, and Alpenfestung need to speed up their game a bit, as they do not have much time here. Starting to make their way towards the red stairs. We've got Boom waiting at that double door for someone to push in. This is a free kill for Boom, whoever walks through. Bullets go out. And if a player follows them, they are going to drop to Boom, that's for sure. Oh no, he pushes out. He tries to play the time game, but the diffuser is dropped just outside sight. Kundi gets the double kill, and that's enough to win the round. And Fragile, for the first time in a very long time, managed to put a win in their column. They need to do more of that. Reading Room and Fireplace is going to be the next site to get played here. Not Bar and Cocktail like you'd expect. Reading Room and Fireplace. Now this could be a very good pick because Alpenfestung aren't going to expect this, so they're not going to have possibly all of the utility that they would bring if they were expecting it. We have Sledge. He can do his work up top. We've got 2 sets of grenades here in the hands of Sledge and Iana. So there is still good opportunity here for Alpenfestung to do well on this site. I mean, we talked about the stats earlier, right? We talked about the stats earlier. Let's take a look at them again. Reading Room and Fireplace, 76% defender favored, and we saw it being successfully defended by Alpenfestung. Let's be real, though, for a moment. Let's be real about a couple of things. We saw 2 tremendous 1 versus 3 victories coming out from Alpenfestung. You've got to remember, though, it was 2 1 versus 3s. That means the rest of the team fell, and then basically Fragile kind of threw it away in those 2 situations. Because in a 1 versus 3, at this kind of level of gameplay, you shouldn't be losing when you're the 3-man team. Alpenfestung can't rely, and it was 2 different players, Alpenfestung can't rely on those 2 individuals to keep doing work like that. You've got to do your work as a team. And on attack, this is where we see that teamwork coming more into play. And if Alpenfestung can't pull that teamwork together and leave themselves in a 1 versus 3 on attack, the chances are they're not actually going to win those clutches this time round. So Alpenfestung maybe need to work a little bit on communication. We saw 2 players drop to Aroma who didn't really go checked. He went unchecked. He managed to get his kills, back out, and he was allowed to just walk around for a very long time. A very long time. In fact, he was still standing at the end of the round. And that shouldn't have happened, especially if you got Jackal on the board. I guess that's why Jackal has now been brought into play by the attack. They want to watch for these feet. Oh no! Although to be fair, they had Jackal last time. They just didn't really capitalize on it. Boom, looking up, has a nice little angle on that window, and he manages to not do any damage, but he does take damage. Kundi does drop, but he's going to get revived most likely as he is just back here. But we got someone holding the window. It's going to be very difficult for someone to come in through this double door to get the kill. Tarkin's going to finish it off, though, as Tarkin is now on site. Turkin, rather, is on site. He has control and no diffuser. Default Cam getting taken down, and Turkin, he can just chill. No, it's not site, is it? It's downstairs. Okay. So, Turkin chilling here, waiting for his teammates to join him. We still have Sledge in play. He is outside. He doesn't need to be outside. He needs to be on the top floor doing damage. In Cocktail, we have 3 breaching charges in the hands of Schecter. He's going to open up some holes to apply some pressure. We can see 1 player down behind the bookcase. That looked like Mozzie, but Turkin can't find him. It wasn't Mozzie because Mozzie's banned. Who actually was it? It's not Cody. It's Epic Temperor. Somehow he wasn't spotted. Fletcher and White Stairs, 4 versus 5 right now in favor of Alpenfestung. Zyko rotating around to the ground floor as Boom picks up a kill. 4 versus 4, and things have evened out. As Turkan answers back, 4 versus 3. Footprints are going to get tracked here, and that is going to be the Fiti prints of Malusi. Oh, but Fletch comes down the white stairs while Zyko is so focused on those footprints. Fletch making his way up. We can see Jackal here on the white stairs. Sorry, Ace, and he's going to get picked off. 3 versus 2. And this is where Fragile are going to come back into their own and should start putting rounds on the board if they can keep playing the way they're playing right now. Diffuser has been dropped. 35 seconds left to go. Diffuser's going to get watched like a hawk as Turkan claims 1. 2 versus 2. Fletch very low on health. Cody pulls. Fletch is left on a 1 versus 2. Malusi crouch walking through the rotate and Real drops behind. Gets the pick. And we've got a 6-2. Alpenfestung go on to match point. Match point, ladies and gentlemen, at a 6-2. Fragile tilted right now. Fragile tilted. This is going to be a difficult one to come back from. It isn't impossible. It isn't impossible. But when you look at the fact that it's 50-50 attacking and defending favored, you kind of have to look at this and say, okay, so we expect a 3-3, right? We expect 3 attack wins and 3 defensive wins. Well, we've had 1 attack win and 1 defensive win. The problem is that Fragile need more than 3 defensive wins. They need 4 just to get to overtime. So Alpenfestung have at least guaranteed 1 point. They've at least guaranteed 1 point, which means that Sobs basically have to win their game against Runic this week. No, it's not Sob, sorry. Apollo have to win their game against Avenger in order to... well, they had to win anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ignore me. I'll look at the numbers later. We'll report back. Let's look at the setup. Actually, let's look at the drones, because we want to see where the drone spots are. So, Terrace, standard. Turkan's lost his. Mad King, standard. Wait a minute. Real... going to be picked up. Where is Schecter's? Oh, Schecter's just looking through other people's drones. His is at spawn, ready to be picked up as well. Looking for it, can't find it. Where's my drone? Where am I? There, behind the... You pinged the floor so you can find it. Love it. All right, let's take a look at what Fragile are going to be doing here. They are still setting up. We've got double reinforcements across both walls. No cheeky strats here where they just make holes and look through them. Just all walls reinforced, taking no chances, and all of them are going to be electrified or signal jammed up to try and make sure that there's no chance of the attackers getting through. Fletch being the first one to take damage from that window in mining, and he is going to retreat. Not very much taken off him, so he's got plenty here to work with. It's not a big issue right now. Zyko holding onto this window. And if a player rotates through this hallway, they could be in big trouble. And at the moment, we've got Fletch looking like he might come out that way. Opening up some little peek holes. That's a nice angle. All right, here we go. Here he comes. He's going to rotate round. Oh, pre-fires the window, but our man on the window, Zyko, is safe. We've got Real watching him, waiting for the jump out. Is it likely to come? Is this the kind of play Fragile will make? They aren't there waiting for it right now. There's no jump out on the cards. We've got Boomsy playing up close on Diffuser, on Bombrana with the SMG-11, pre-firing, giving his position away. We've got Kundi holding onto Pixel, and he's not having too much pressure applied to him right now. In fact, a minute and a half in, we're only just getting the Cigar Lounge wall opened up. So that's another way for Alpenfestung to make their way into this room. Drones on piano, watching, looking to see who's there. But Zyko's going to get the kill somehow. Don't know where that was from. As Cody trying to take out the player, repelling on white window. He's not going to hit the shots. He is going to back out, but Epic Temperor does take down one. 4 versus 4. 1 minute still left to go. Could be anybody's round. We see one player drop through the hatch onto red stairs. We've got 2 players on red. Real droning. Mad King pushing Pixel. No one there to challenge him right now. No one at all. And if he can make his way in to this to the bathroom, he'd have a free pick. Real takes down 1. 4 versus 3. Temperor answers it back. 3 versus 3 now. Boom looking down through some holes. into reading, but no one is there right now. Oh no! Boom! Chucks out the gas grenade, and Mad King capitalizes on the fact that he's got no gun in his hand. Mad King does fall in return, though, putting it into a 2 versus 2. We've seen worse results from Fragile in this kind of position, so let's see what they can pull off. Tempera does a load of damage. In fact, hardly any damage to one at all. I don't know what I'm saying. He's in worse condition than the player he was shooting at. Zyko, not even worrying about him. Just going to pull back for a second. 15 seconds left to go. Epic Tempera, biding his time. Is just going to wait. He doesn't have to push it. He is going to wait. As Ace is in and being watched, he's going to go for the plant. Zyko knows that players come out white. Does get that pick. Fletch needs to deny the plant, but he's not watching. Plant is going to be successful. No! Oh, what a clutch from Fletch. Oh my God. Alpenfestung were so close to the plant. Unfortunate for Alpenfestung that Sophia was just looking the wrong way. Just looking the wrong way. Hey, welcome to the stream, Jinx. Thank you very much for joining. Very much appreciated. So, let's take a look at the board. Fletch has actually started doing some work. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't doing it before, but Cody actually hasn't got a single kill since the turn of the... since we went to the second half. And that's not where they want to be. It's not where they want to be. Cody needs to pick it up and start performing on defense the way he was performing in attack. This is the problem. The mental game can sometimes get to you. Maybe that's what's happened to Cody. Maybe that's what's happened to Cody. All right, kitchen and service is getting played next. We've seen this site played once already by Fragile, and they lost it. They lost it. So they need to turn that around right here. They need to turn that around and make sure they get a win here. They need to win 3 rounds in a row to stay in this game. Mrs. Toot says the star prediction's looking good right now. Myself, Mrs. Toot, and Glossy voted for Alpenfestung. Everyone else went for Fragile. And it's looking good for the people that voted here in the chat as well. Because pretty much everyone voted Fragile, so yeah. So the people that voted Alpenfestung could make some major Toot XP here. Now we are seeing Mad King bring out the Monty. This is a new strategy coming out here from the attackers of Alpenfestung. They're going to look around to find where the utility is. They can open up these walls. That's it, down. We can now see prep pool is going to get opened up. C4 is going to get pulled here by the player on prep windows. Not going to do any damage. Ping's going out. Now, we've seen Mad King playing on Monty before, and he was the kind of player that kept dropping his shield, and it didn't work for him. It just did not work. He needs to keep that shield up and gather the intel as the frag grenade from Real is going to take out. Boom! C4 gets sent out, and that is... Oh no, he must have just missed the hole because there were so many targets he could have had. Mad King is going to take a whole mad load of damage from Jaeger, who is going to push out. Pings are going out. Intel is being given as Kundi takes down Schecter. They know exactly where Jaeger is. Another one is going to fall. Mad King dropped that shield, but he shouldn't. He hasn't got the health to play around like that. He's giving pings, letting his team know exactly where these players are. Cody is down, but Kundi is going to answer with a kill onto Real. 1 versus 3. Unless Cody can get picked up, in which case it's a 1 versus 4. Yellow pings are going out. Turkin is going to try to capitalize on that as he makes his way round to the breach. He knows there's a player up above. He spots him, opens fire, but doesn't manage to do the damage that he needs to do. One player at prep. He's going to get taken down, evening things out a bit. We've got one player up on the top floor, one on site, and Cody about to bleed out. Wait. What? Oh, no. Yeah, there is one still up above, and Fletch has dropped. Cody's going to die. Fletch watching prep from the bomb chassis. Turkin and Mad King trying to evaluate their situation. Cody eventually does fall. Turkin making his way around, but going to join his teammate back here in Bakery, trying to evaluate how they are going to approach this. This is looking very good right now. This is looking very good right now for Fragile, I must say. Mad King is in. He knows where... He knows exactly where the Vigil is, but Fletch and Epic Temper are going to team up. Fletch drops Turk and even Macking all on his own, and it is unlikely that he is going to do enough damage, and sure enough, Fragile take that round. They manage to keep their composure for a little bit longer, and they get another one in the win column. They just need to win 2 more to take it to overtime. Just 2 more. Hey, Barry's been dropped. No, Barry did great work in when he was playing for Fragile just a couple of weeks ago in Oregon or whatever it was. Great work. Surely you're not dropped. Reading room and fireplace. Next site to get played. You know what? I lied, actually. Earlier on, I said that Kitchen and Service was lost by Fragile on defense. It was the first round they won on defense. Sorry, I lied to you. It was Reading Room and Fireplace was the round that they actually lost. So, this is the critical site. This is the critical site for Fragile. Now, again, when we saw Fragile lose it that last time, to be fair to them, it was a 1 versus 2. Or a 2 versus 1, depending how you look at it. 2 players for Alpenfestung, 1 player for Fragile. Fragile really have to... Wait a minute. What's going on here? Looks like we have a rehost. Okay, bear with me. Bear with me, stream. What's the current score? 6 and 4. Okay, let's... He hasn't got the time. He's not going to get the kills. Turkin's going to claim that last life. And there we go. Alpenfestung win it. 7-4. A lot of people didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are.
Alpenfestung Esports wins 7-4.
What a victory for them. They claim 3 points on the standings. That was not what Fragile were expecting today. That was not what they were expecting today. Most unfortunate for Fragile.